So Hasan Piker caused a giant media firestorm for some comments that he made on his Twitch channel. Now, I'm going to show you one of the clips here. The other thing he said, I'll tell you when we get back from this clip, but let's watch and then we'll discuss.
This is so insane. America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it. I'm saying it.
We're there to partner with them. We're not there doing our own thing. We're there partnering and training
in a video
and
game.
equipping and enhancing their capabilities. So that's part of what we're doing. And the other part is just knowledge. We want to know what's happening.
Like, we fucking totally brought it on ourselves, dude. Holy shit. We did. We fucking did. In a video game, whatever, hypothetically, politically, we fucking did, man. We did. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Look at the way that this dipshit is running his fucking mouth, justifying genocide right now. Like, how is anything I'm saying controversial? Like, we fucking fund the people who did 9/11 still to this day. Donald Trump literally went on national television and said they buy $10 billion worth of weapons. So if they chop an American legal permanent resident, it's okay.
So he went on to make a joke about Dan Crenshaw, and he says that he wishes a brave Mujahideen fighter would fuck Crenshaw's eye hole. Now, the criticism of that part, I'm just going to say up front, not really too interested in that because it's obvious that it was an attempt at a joke. And when he says, some people are trying to claim that when he said brave Mujahideen fighter, he literally means like he thinks the Mujahideen are brave and he's like on their side. And no, what he's referring to is, and he's brought this up in the criticism since, at the end of Rambo 3, I think it was, they dedicate the movie to the brave Mujahideen freedom fighters because we were allies at the time with the Mujahideen because they were fighting the Soviet Union. So he's referencing that. He's referencing how we used to support and even deify these Mujahideen fighters to the point where we called them brave Mujahideen fighters. And again, the fuck Crenshaw's eye hole, does he literally want a terrorist to fuck Dan Crenshaw's eye? No. So this I file 100% under the category of crude humor. And I think anybody who's pretending that's not the case is just totally and utterly full of shit. Now, as I say, when the right-wingers are, attacked by the PC police, what do I say? I say, get the fuck over it. I don't care if you like the joke or dislike the joke or whatever. It's irrelevant. You want to censor people for jokes? Is that what you want to do? You want to pretend like the joke is serious when it's not? Because that's the same. What you see in this instance is, for that particular comment, you see people on the right, becoming the PC police and trying to joke police and censor. And I think that that's massively hypocritical because anytime somebody on the right, does a joke that's politically incorrect, they defend him. Whether it's Louis C.K. making some joke about, and he's not necessarily on the right, but the joke could have been perceived that way when he spoke about, the whiny kids, Parkland kids or whatever after a mass shooting, and the right was like, get over it, bro, get over it, bro. But somehow now all of a sudden it's not get over it, bro, when it's Hasan Piker trying to make a joke that you might not like. Just stop flipping the standard like a Weasley little prick. That's all I ask of you. Now, I've always been strongly on the side of, I don't care if it's a joke, I'm really not going to get angry about it. I might say it's not funny, but I'm never going to get angry and never going to try to censor people. And there are many people on the right who immediately flip their standard because they don't like Hasan Piker. And they don't like what he said here. And they want to glorify glorious Dan Crenshaw, yes! Never say a bad word about a troop! The troops! Oh, the troops! Okay, so that's the other comment. You didn't see that one there, but that's something that he said. Now, to his comments in the clip that you just saw. Is it wrong to say, quote, America deserved 9/11? Well, absolutely that's wrong. And that's so obviously wrong that Hasan Piker himself, after the fact, was like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. In fact, soon as he said it, he shut the stream down and deleted the clip because he didn't stand by it because he thought that was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. To say America deserved 9/11 means you're saying that these thousands of innocent civilians who were killed deserved it. And let me be crystal clear, innocent civilians never, ever, 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 ever deserve to be killed. Ever. Okay? Targeting innocent civilians is by definition terrorism. And that's never okay no matter who does it. I don't care if it's Al-Qaeda doing it to U.S. civilians. I don't care if it's us doing to civilians overseas, bombing them on purpose. I don't care if it's Israel doing it in Gaza, killing civilians on purpose. It's wrong across the board. Terrorism, I'm against. On principle. In principle, however you say it. So, let me be crystal clear about that. Now, that's what he said. And I've spoken to Hasan since this happened. What he meant was not what he said. What he meant was that second part. What he meant was 9/11 was incredibly predictable, and basically the government brought it on us with their actions. That's what he was saying. And he goes on to give an incredibly concrete example, which, by the way, the right-wingers who flipped out over this clipped out. They only clipped out the part where he said America deserved 9/11. They clipped out the second part of it where he says very clearly that it was predictable and we brought it on ourselves, and we did that by arming and funding these jihadist groups. That's the point. That's the whole point of what he was trying to say. Now, admittedly, he was wrong in the way he said it because what he said was factually wrong and terrible, and no, civilians never deserve it, ever. But he admits that. And he says, what I was trying to say is, we could have seen it coming. We brought it on ourselves because we armed and funded the jihadist groups. If we didn't arm and fund the jihadist groups, probably wouldn't have happened. 9/11 probably wouldn't have happened. So, and also, by the way, we aid in their recruitment as well when we kill innocent Muslims and then, give those groups more power when they go to try to recruit and they say, hey man, the Americans just killed your grandma, didn't they? With a drone strike. Come join us. Hey man, the Americans are backing the Israelis and the Israelis are occupying Palestinian land, Muslim land. Come join us. And then when you read, bin Laden's letter to America, he lays all that out crystal clear. He says, hey man, listen, a lot of what we're doing this for, he lays out explicitly, an explicitly religious ideology and says, this is the point of why we're doing it. But he also has geopolitical motives. And he says, this is why we're targeting who we're targeting. Because they've aided and abetted the occupation of Palestinian lands. Because they've occupied Muslim lands. And they've killed, X number of innocent Muslims, whether it's the sanctions on Iraq, for example, which killed at least 500,000 innocent Muslims. This is all listed in bin Laden's letter to America. So what Hasan Piker is saying is, hey man, this was incredibly predictable. 9/11 was predictable. There was a memo on George W. Bush's desk which said bin Laden determined to attack inside the United States. And what Haas is trying to say here is that was predictable, and we brought it on ourselves because we kept funding and propping up these jihadist groups and then also aiding their recruitment by killing innocent Muslims and helping the occupation of Palestine. So, is that part true? Of course it's true. Of course it's true. And what people are doing is they're trying to interpret this in the worst possible way imaginable, where people are literally claiming they think he is pro-Al-Qaeda. But again, they cut out the part of the video where he goes on to say, hey man, we propped up Al-Qaeda. We propped up jihadists. And that's the problem. So if he's pro-Al-Qaeda, then why is he mad that we propped up Al-Qaeda? That doesn't make any sense. And that's the point that he's made over and over, and that's true, is that they're taking it out of context on purpose. Now, that doesn't mean that what he said isn't wrong. It is wrong, but he knows it's wrong, which is why he deleted it, and why he said it's wrong. So there's what Hasan Piker said, which was wrong, and there's what he meant, which not only isn't wrong, it's totally true. And by the way, the main argument that he brought up against Dan Crenshaw, which is conveniently left out of this entire conversation, is he said Dan Crenshaw voted 4 times to continue arming Saudi Arabia. So Hasan's point is, spare me with your fucking crocodile tears, man. Spare me. Okay? Stop voting to arm Saudi Arabia, who then turns around and arms jihadists on the ground in Syria and Yemen. Stop. Stop arming this Salafist, extremist, right-wing fundamentalist government who then uses those weapons to arm the terrorists that want to attack the United States. Funny how the main policy criticism that he was making was left out of all the conversation and all the chatter about this. And all anybody could talk about is that little isolated part, which was admittedly wrong, but they use that and then pretend like he wasn't making the sound criticism that he went on to make. And that is fucking frustrating. All these fucking little virtue signaling pricks out there of like, oh yeah, you think America deserved 9/11? Well, I think America didn't deserve 9/11. Oh, wow! What an amazing opinion! Oh, you're such a good person! You want me to pat you on the back and tell you how special you are for saying the most obvious fucking thing ever in human history? You want me to do that? Please, all these fucking crying bitches all of a sudden getting politically correct and purposefully interpreting it in the least charitable way possible. That's what I'm sick of. That, because they bitch about that every time a left-winger misinterprets something on purpose. And they're right to bitch about that. When, oh, you guys took it out of context, this and that. What about this? Why are you taking it out of context? Why are you not acknowledging the substantive criticism, which was, hey, Dan Crenshaw, stop fucking voting to arm Saudi Arabia? What about that? No. Focus on the crude joke. Focus on the brave Mujahideen fighter fucking his eye hole. Focus on that, because that's so politically incorrect. How could you? Ugh. So I'm just annoyed because there's what he said, which was wrong, but everybody knows it's wrong, and there's what he meant, which is actually true. And nobody's saying that part now, because everybody wants to be virtue signaling whiny, politically correct snowflake bitches, and in this case, it's right-wing snowflakes. So it's incredibly annoying, it's incredibly hypocritical. And by the way, of course, what happened? The free speech brigade, all of a sudden, they're no longer in favor of free speech. And Dan Crenshaw was on Twitter basically implying that, oh, Google and YouTube and Twitch profit off of this. That's not a good thing now, is it? So you see how quickly they flip their standard? And they want censorship? And they want demonetization? And they want them taken off platforms when they don't agree with what they're saying? And by the way, Hasan is also right that Dan Crenshaw uses his service to turn around and argue for endless war. So am I supposed to sit there and shut up because you were a veteran, so I'm not allowed to disagree with your opinion anymore? Well, guess what? Tulsi Gabbard's a veteran, and she says these wars are stupid, and they're offensive, and they're illegal, and she's right. Am I not allowed in the conversation because I didn't serve? Is Hasan not allowed in that conversation? Is he not allowed to have an opinion about going to war? So when you use your service to send more American men and women, boys and girls to go die overseas for no good reason, well then yeah, of course we're going to disagree with you. And to pull the veteran card and to pull the like, oh, no, you're not allowed to disagree with me. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, man. How shameless are you? It is incredibly shameless. So I'm tired of the victimization complex of everybody. Jesus Christ. So, and by the way, of course, Hasan Piker is now getting massive death threats, but that's par for the course. When you're in the space that I'm in and that he's in, it is what it is. You're going to get what you're going to get. But it's obvious. Everybody knows. Yes, what he said was wrong. America deserved 9/11, but he knows it's wrong, which is why he deleted the video. But what he meant was, it was incredibly predictable, which it literally was, and we brought it on ourselves by arming and funding these groups, and we shouldn't have done that. That part is totally true, and that part nobody is saying because there's not an honest dialogue going on right now.